Marian Ellis, and I want to welcome you back to 5 Minutes in the Word. Today's verse is one that's very personal to me. And I say it's personal because in my heart, I love Jesus. And I hope that is conveyed in our videos, but I love Jesus not just because of who he is and his power, but he is my all in all. One of my favorite songs that's out right now is Jesus, Only Jesus. I'm not going to sing because I don't want to do that to you, but the central core of this message of this song is that it is Jesus from the beginning to the middle to the end. He is our hope. He is our life. He's our source. He's our confidence. And we can't move from that central fact of the Christian life. And I'm just getting teary just thinking about that. And the reason this verse is so important that we're going to look at today is because it's written to some people who had fallen in love with Jesus, and I think if you're watching this video at some point, you heard the message of Christ. At some point, he became the love of your life, hopefully, and you understand the power and the person of Christ and how amazing he is. But there's this point of temptation that we all hear this little whisper that says, but is Jesus really enough? It's Jesus plus fill in the blank. And so this letter that this verse is going to come from, these people in this city called Galatia, this region called Galatia, they had, fallen in love with Jesus. They'd put faith in him. But then these false teachers come along and they start to tell them Jesus is good, but you also need to do fill in the blank. And for them, it was all of these different religious activities that they had to add to Jesus in order to make themselves right with God. And so then the Apostle Paul comes along and he writes this letter. And this letter to the church in Galatia, this epistle we call Galatians, it's all about freedom. Jesus set us free. Jesus paid it all. Jesus is enough. Let's not add to Jesus and then end up slaves again to either legalism or trying to work to please God, or even slaves to sin again. And so let's get into our verse because I have talked way too long. It's Galatians chapter 2, verse 20, and he says, I have been, okay, that's a past tense, crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. Okay, isn't it an amazing passage? But we got to unpack it a little bit because it could be a little bit confusing just at surface level. What does it mean I was crucified with Christ? I wasn't there. I didn't hang on the tree. What Paul is saying is that when we look to Jesus spiritually with faith, we look to him, we are identifying with him in his death and in his resurrection. We are identifying our lives with him when we're saying the same way Jesus died to sin, the same way Jesus died to the law, we are identified with his death. Now, a picture of this is the practice of baptism. If you've ever seen someone baptized, they say they are identified with Christ's life, and they die and they're buried under the water, and then they come up out of the water in newness of life. That person is being identified with the death, the burial, and the resurrection of Christ. And this is kind of what Paul is saying here, is that I have been crucified. I was identified with his crucifixion, that his crucifixion was my own. And the life I now live, this life we live now, it's not by Jesus paying our sin payment in the past and now I'm going to try it on my own. No, today I live by faith every single day, every moment in the one who paid the price for me. So what does that mean for you and I? It means that Jesus is our past, and Jesus is our future, and Jesus is our present. He is the way we live the Christian life. He is our access into it, and he is the one that every day carries us through. So how do we do this? We live out our faith in a daily basis. We live our faith in the face of temptation and trials, and in those moments, we draw near to the one who is with us now, Emmanuel, Christ Jesus. We draw near by faith to the one who did pay it all, but that's not just a historical moment. He lives in us and with us, and he lives his life through us. And so when I look at Galatians 2:20, I'm reminded that not only am I identified with Christ in a manner that he paid for my sin, but he is the with me God now. He is the one living out his life in me now because he is resurrected and he is alive and he is living his life through me and through you. I hope this verse is encouragement to you as you identify yourself with Jesus.